excited to be doing these every single week.
Exactly. 4th episode going to 400, right? So we'll see how this works. Now that I think about it, I said out loud, 400. That means we got to do like several years of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say one a week.
We might have to do more than once a week. But what do you guys think, right? Let us know in the comment. Go ahead and go to the pin post on our X and let us know what do you guys think of the bank statement show. Do you guys have any suggestions, things that we can improve on, things that we can do better? We are here to continue to do incredible things. All right, so one of the things I wanted to start, you guys loved what we did last time. We were talking about the financial red flags when it comes to when you go on your first date, and a lot of people were like, yo, you got to bring that back. That was kind of cool. We want to have more conversation on that. So, Mr. Banks, I wanted to have a conversation on you. This time I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of talking about like what is a red flag, I wanted to know like if you go back to your days, right? Like I know you're happily married now. If you had to go back to your days of like first date expenses, how much would you spend on the first date? What do you think is realistic in terms of how much should you spend on the first date? Should you go all big and try to impress your first date, or you got to, do it casual because you never know?
Yeah, well, I'm excited. This is exciting. It's almost kind of like we're a dating show in a way too, right? Like, all the feedback we've got, the DMs, right, about this topic is so we must have a lot of single people in the in our community,
in the Banks family.
In the Banks family, that's awesome. Right. But no, for me, honestly, I think it moves with age, right? Like when you're younger, you just want to be able to go out and get something to eat, right? And take
McDonald's,
Mickey D's, right?
Right.
And just maybe a cup of coffee,
right?
Today, with my kids, I've seen that a lot.
Right.
Younger group, they're going to get coffee, getting to know each other, and I think is that classified as a first date? Or is that just, hey, getting to know each other a little bit, not officially a date? But, I think today, with prices and everything, I mean, it's hard to go out and get a good dinner for less than $100 US,
right.
here in the States.
Right.
So that would be somewhere around my ballpark.
$100.
About $100.
Right.
Yeah.
I think something that's interesting, right? Maybe, what do you guys think, right? What do you guys think in terms of like, what's a good price of a date? Maybe what we should do, let's give them different age range, right? Yeah. Like if you are, let's say 25 and younger, right? How much should you spend? Then let's say like 25 to 35. Right? You may be more established, you have a job. And if you're like older than 35, I mean, at this point, you can't be spending $30 on a date.
Yeah. And plus it matters on where you are in the world.
That's true, where you live. Exactly, right?
So,
exactly. So, like, you guys just take US dollar, do the equivalent for what you guys think in your currency and your circumstance, obviously, right? Listen, we'll do the disclaimer later. I just like to start with something fun.
Yeah.
But this is not financial advice, obviously, right? Do what you want with your date. But let's say if you're 25 and younger, how much should you spend on in a good first date?
I think you're probably in the $100 range.
Okay.
For a good in that age.
Gotcha.
Because I think even if they don't have it, they're going to find it to try to
impress you.
To try to impress the girl or guy for that matter.
$100 or more. So that's a realistic somewhat range for a good date. 25. Let's say if you're 25 to 35, right? So now you have a job, you might be working somewhere, right? You've been working for quite some time. You find the love of your life. Maybe you're late, you're not married yet. You're trying to figure out, the dating streets are rough these days. So what do? Right? What's a good first impression on that date?
Well, that's actually the age that I met my wife.
Okay.
And so this one, I can bring it to reality, right? So
right.
Our first date,
right.
I was 29 years old. It's
right.
a long time ago now. And, but that first date was right around $250.
$250.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good price.
Yeah.
I think that's not bad.
Now that wasn't just food. It was
the activities, maybe.
We it was around the holiday time.
Right.
We had a good dinner. Then we went and saw a show. And then we went and looked at Christmas lights.
Wow, you brought out the whole red carpet. I love it.
It worked.
You were married.
$250 worked.
Exactly. That's a good investment.
I hooked her, and,
Bunch of X's on that one
Yeah.
for sure. I love it. Hey, listen, like dating's a good investment. All right, let's say if you are 35 and above, right? So at this point, you're maybe dating later, right? You both established. You could have kids. You could be a single parent, whatever the case may be. So you might have a little bit of means. So I heard a story of a lady that says for her, if a date is not spending at least $500 on her, she's not going on the second date with this person.
Yeah, and that, it's unfortunate because I would let her go on the first date. That means she's already been in my wallet or looking over my shoulder at my Bitcoin wallet or something.
She saw your bank's balance.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
No, I'm sorry. Well, why are you calling me? Because you done hacked my account. You know what? You looked at my account.
Oh, man.
She's expecting big money. No,
right.
She'd have to go.
She got to go. Yeah. She got to go. Okay. Yeah. No, we're not doing 5. But what would you think? What would be like someone is watching during that age range? What would be your advice? What's Mr. Bank's advice on how much to spend on a first date if you're over 35?
If you're over 35, I think it's fair to say still $75 to $100. Keeping it, because it's a first date. You might not, you might just be getting to know each other.
So you're going down to compared to the 25 to 35.
Yeah, because these are someone who, they might not be serious either, right?
That's true. Okay.
So don't just.
You're experienced now, so you're not trying to wow too much. You're like, okay, I see.
When you're younger, you're like, okay, I want to hook one, and then you realize you ain't hooking that much.
Right.
And then you get the little older, you'll be a little wiser. Because you might go on 2 dates a week, 3 dates a week.
That's true. You might go on multiple ones. That's true. So it's a budget, right?
Yeah, you got to dilute. You got to dilute it a little bit, right?
You got to make sure that you get a good spread over there. Okay. Interesting. So what do you guys think? I'm curious to kind of hear from you guys. What do you guys think is a good amount, right? Depending on the age range that you are. I want to see some audience participation because we love that. What do you guys think is a good amount? So let's say, for example, if you think you spend like $50 or less, I want you to give me a thumbs up. If you're like, hey, $100, $200, like, Mr. Banks was saying is a good range, give me a heart. And if you're like, go big or go home, give me a 100. I want to see that. Give me a 100 emoji. And if you're like, listen, just coffee, man, just on the phone, just text and give me a thumbs down. Like, listen, I'm not spending any money.
What if you're that $500 girl? Or you're not going on a date. What do you do?
Thumbs down.
Like double thumbs? Double. Like,
oh,
if you're one of those girls on the, what? Let us know.
Oh man, I see a couple hundreds. Okay, so a couple hundreds. That's go big or go home. I see a couple hearts. Okay, a couple hearts. That's 100 to 200. I see some thumbs down. They're like, no, I'm not trying to date anybody. I see a couple laughing faces. I see a couple hearts, a mixture of hearts and some thumbs up. Okay, so you guys are between that 50 to 1 to 200 range. Okay, cool. Well, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you for laughing with us for a second. I think so was fun. For those of you guys who are tuning in maybe for the first time, we love it for you guys to be in. Just know that the Bank Statement Show is intended to share general information. So we want to make sure that it's for education, discussion purposes only. Nothing that you hear on this show is financial advice or legal or tax or investment advice at all. So please, as we say in crypto, do your own research, assess the risk, consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decision. Also understand that by listening or watching our show, you agree that we're not responsible for any losses or any actions that you might have taken based on the content of this show. All right. I had to get the disclaimer out. Right now that we kind of have that going, we just talked about how much you spend on a first date. I want to talk about this idea of I was going through some stuff as, we talked about last time. We're preparing for 2026 as a team, as a project, also individually. And I believe a lot of you guys should do the same as well. As the end of the year, you got to prepare financially for 2026. And one of the things that came to my mind as we were doing that was this idea of making money versus being profitable. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's kind of crazy when you look at it, right? This idea of making money versus being profitable. And what I mean by that is, it's not just because money's coming in as a business. Money's coming in, or you've invested, and you're like, oh my God, like my wallet is going up. But you're like, okay, am I actually being profitable, right? So I wanted to kind of have that conversation with you, Mr. Banks, about like, okay, the difference or that nuance between like, okay, money's coming in, but are you actually being profitable? I think a lot of businesses, a lot of people, when they look at their bank statement, they may not clearly be able to say, are we actually profitable as a business, right? So I want to talk about that, like from a business standpoint, profitability, and then like individually, how someone who's investing. A lot of us who are here will love crypto, but you might be listening or watching this and you're new, or you just look at your traditional finance. So I want to know a little bit, what is your thought process on this idea of like making money versus being profitable?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just numbers on the screen a lot of times, right? When you're invoicing, collecting money, looking for jobs. My background is in real estate, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with a lot of money, but a lot of that, the income is deferred, right? You're buying a property, you're doing a lot of work, you're spending a lot of money.
Right.
But the profit, you might get a lot of money going out, and then you get some trickling back in, depending if it's a long-term property or a short-term property. But the important part is to track really well, right?
Right.
Track your expenses, know exactly what you're spending, so you can know what your profit is,
Right.
and if it's short-term or long-term. So, just bringing money in and not knowing your bottom line or knowing what you're making on each job, for me, we're separating everything, right? I mean, every single job gets a separate, independent line item, category and stuff like that. So, yeah. So for me, it's just tracking and knowing exactly what it is.
Right. And also, I think it's important for you guys who are listening to know, like, revenue, which is essentially income coming in, is not profit, right? It's not because you're making money that you're profitable, right? So the easiest way to think about profit is how much money is left after you've subtracted the expenses from the revenue.
Right.
Right. So you need to know, okay, like I'm doing XYZ, what are my expenses? I'm doing this thing, what are some of those things I need to be able to do? Once you start looking at that, the rest that's remaining is your profit, right? You might be like, okay, say, well, what if I don't have a business, right? What if I don't, I'm not trying to, run the the Rob Banks brand and all we're trying to do, because, we have team members and employees and all that kind of stuff. So we have to think about all that. But what if you're doing it for your own personal finance? Like, what's the best way to think about, like, especially when it comes to investing? So, because I think sometimes people, especially in crypto, I think crypto could be slippery, where you do so much trading, you do so much over there that, like, okay, this thing might X, but you take the money there, you go this thing and you lose this, and you do so many moving pieces. But at the end of the day, when you settle, people don't take the time to know that. Like, I was asking some people, when you look at your portfolio in 2025, where it's almost the end of the year, are you actually profitable? Or did you make so much money and also spend or lost a lot of money as well due to that, right? Like, what ended up happening? So I don't know about you, like, as an investor, how do you look at also being profitable?
Well, let me comment. I think it's important too. So many people will sell on a project as soon as there's a few red
Right.
candle, right? And you're selling at a loss. I mean, look
Right.
at how many times we've seen it, that you're selling at a loss. And now, I know we talked about it in, I think, the first bank statement show, right? Where, the amount, right? If you're down 50%, how much more you have to gain? You have to
Exactly.
gain
100%.
100%,
Right.
get
To
back,
break even.
just
Right.
to break even, right?
Right.
And so I think that, again, tracking, if you're not tracking your crypto portfolio, when you make these trades, I think you got to have conviction, one, on what you're, if you're investing or you're trading, but, in knowing what your profit is. And again, I think the number one thing, the hardest thing in crypto, in my opinion, even for myself at times, is actually taking a profit.
Mm.
Actually, I'm up 2, 3, 4, 5,
Right.
X,
Right.
10X.
Right.
Well, it's going to 100. No,
It
right?
may not go to
It may
100.
not.
Right.
So
Right.
and I think just being disciplined enough to actually take profit
Right.
on the way up.
How do you navigate, like you said, how do you navigate the profit taking versus the opportunity cost? Right? Because if you do take that profit and it did go up, right? You lost some opportunity cost of, by the way, opportunity cost means what you could have made, right, on a particular investment, amount of money, or whatever the case may be. So what I'm trying to figure out is a lot of people don't take profit. Maybe like yourself, myself, sometimes it's difficult for us. Is it because of the fear of missing out on potential gains? So how do we balance? What would be a wise, way to be looking at, okay, is it a particular X amount, or is it just like based on a scenario, or should you short-term versus long-term investments? How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't usually invest in anything unless I really have conviction in the play.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to look at getting a 5X before I start taking anything out of a project.
Mm-hmm.
So, now 5X is, depending on your position, that could be pretty significant, right?
Right.
So you got to take that into play, right? What size of position are you in? Are you in with $100? Are you in with $10?
Right.
Right. What is that?
Or $1,000.
Or $1,000.
Right.
Or more.
Right.
Right. So I think, for that is just knowing your position and having what your strategy is before. I think that's the alpha. Knowing what your strategy is on that trade or that investment before you do it.
Mm.
Right? Like
before you invest.
Right. I'm going to put $100 in this. When I get to 200, I'm taking 20% out.
Right.
When I
stick to whatever you say.
Stick to what you say and write it down.
That's true.
Or put it on screen, right?
Right.
So this is what I said I was doing with this project.
Right.
And actually do it. I know for me, that's what I've had to do.
Right.
In some positions, be like, because it just looks like it's mooning, right? Something just flying,
and then you go to sleep, and then you're like, wow.
You wake up.
A cabal came and just dumped on it.
Zero, But so yeah, I think just sticking to what your game plan is, and if you don't have one, get one.
Exactly.
I went years in crypto, and I was just flying, just making bad decisions and good decision, but then a bad decision because I didn't have a plan.
Right.
And so, now years in, you realize, okay, you got to have a plan and you got to stick to the plan.
Right. You got to stick to the plan. I think that's really what's important as well. So I think you give it a great alpha there. Have a plan before going in, right? Yep. Just know exactly, okay, this is what we're thinking about doing. This is what I want to do personally with my investment. And this is what I'm going to do long term. I think that's super, super important. I wanted to kind of give a little bit of some advice as well to maybe other people who are looking at like the bank's brand, right, and what we've built and what we're putting together. Because we have a team. We do payroll, we do all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this idea of like, okay, at what point does if let's say if you're running a business, understanding the margins. Like a lot of people don't understand like revenue versus expenses, right? Like how much is going to take you to run your business? Like how much is going to take you. Like this is something that, just for transparency, we also had to kind of learn and pivot from traditional business to like Web3 business. Some business fundamentals stay the same. Like you're going to have some costs, right? You can't think of like, oh my God, or maybe some people, they've like just launched a token or launch a project, hype came, they made money, but they had no real cost, right? But there's even cost in just launching. Right, there could be costs in just maintaining, paying moderators and paying graphic designers, and big shout out to the conversation that you had with Chug, one of the lead devs at Skitten. He talked about cost of just running your business. So I wanted to talk a little bit about profitability when it comes to that, right? For those of you guys, because we see some projects also who are coming in and tuning into the bank statement. So I wanted to kind of have conversations on like, okay, how do you interact with that idea of profitability when you're a business, when you have to deal on like, okay, well, are we profitable or are we just surviving on hype?
Right. Yeah. I think that's the big issue is most people are not devs, and devs are not looking at when they launch a token, a meme token, and maybe even some utility tokens, they're not actually treating it like a business.
Right.
So they're, and it's so easy now to launch tokens. Mm-hmm. That's where I think in the earlier days, it was a lot harder to launch tokens, a mm-hmm. token. You just couldn't go over to a launch pad and
do it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. You throw up you make and now with AI, it's even easier, right? To make it look like you got something. So, but, again, back to the question was, I think that, you got to know your expenses, And the difference between traditional business, I believe a little bit, and mean business, like we heard mean business we were talking about with Chug last week, but is, you're not selling our token. We're not selling the bank's token in order to pay bills right now, right? At some point, we hope to, right? That's why we're doing this.
Right.
But at sub 10 million, it just doesn't make sense. Sub 5 million for us to be selling any bank's token. So I think it's just premature, but at some point, just knowing your expenses and knowing what, you have to do. You're right. We talk about it in business. What's your burn rate, right? What does it cost for us to operate every 30 days between and I know we got some of them on the call, some of our team on the call today, right? Like you just got to know, right? Cause we're growing. So we're not cutting back. We're increasing the number of people who's coming into the team. And again, I think we have a business mindset in a meme business, right? So we're a traditional business entering the meme space or crypto space, however we want to say it, where I think a lot of devs and a lot of people in general, they're working a 9 to 5 and they're doing they're deving, right?
On the side.
Or during their employer's time. Right? As they're going, from job to job.
Their job is like funding their meme business.
In between customer service calls for Amazon, right?
Right.
Or delivering the mail, right?
Which, hey, it's the grind of being an entrepreneur, right?
Well,
I get
that's
it.
the part of it that's exciting too, right?
Right.
But I think those people, nothing against them, they're not looking at it the same way that we may be.
Gotcha.
And so we're looking at it saying, okay, this is clearly a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road of just developing on-chain TV and other products and services that go along with it. So, profit to us, it's a red business right now. We're in it for, we're going in the red every single month, but we understand our burn rate. And so when profit comes, it's just we'll have to go, like when you say being 50% down, we'll have to go way past
the 100, right?
100,
to be able to see. And I think you bring up a good thing. And I think the reason I wanted to talk about that is I wanted to encourage some of you guys who are, you are in business, you're maybe in like crypto business or something like that, to understand in traditional business, statistics show that on average, a business has to be at least 3 to 5 years before being profitable. Think about that. 3 to 5 years, right? I'm not saying that that's the same in meme world, right? Or in crypto world. Obviously, it's a little bit different there, but you still need the patience. I think it becomes difficult whenever the people in crypto, you come with a short mindset of trying to get profitable really quickly. And it doesn't give you the ability to really build. Hence why people rug, right? They're like, I don't have the patience to wait to really build something of substance. I'm just going to get this money right now and rug. Where if you really built, we're about to celebrate 1 year in a couple of days, right? Yeah. So big shout out to the Rob Banks brand, where, we got started on November 7th. 9th. That's true. November 9th, 2024. So we're celebrating, our 1 year anniversary on, Satoshi Nakamoto's nephew, Rob Banks. Big shout out to him. He's the really the core behind his thesis and his vision really is what drives us. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that, and you hit on that, is the patience that it requires for you to be able to see the success. Right. So some of the stuff is going to take time. Don't feel like this is going to be like a quick flip and then boom, you're out of there. Right. Some stuff may be there that you're trading, but if you're really trying to build something of substance, it takes time. Like even some of the things in crypto today that we see maybe are blown up. You think about Zora, you think about Base, you think about stuff. Some of these have been cooking for a long time. Yeah. Right. Like a great movie for you guys to watch. So I think it's on YouTube. Well, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's called The Coin. It's the story behind Brian Armstrong. Oh, yeah. And the story behind the Coinbase story. These guys have been at it for like 12, 13 years. Yeah. Right? So it shows the diligence, the discipline that it requires for you to really build something of substance. So yeah, we definitely wanted to talk about that. I wanted to transition, Mr. Banks, into something else that I thought was interesting. Was I don't know if you heard about this, but a couple weeks ago, right? I'm trying to test a little bit of your pop culture here. The NFL they announced that the halftime show, right, was going to be performed by an artist called Bad Bunny, right? Bad Bunny, for those of you that don't know, do you guys know Bad Bunny? I want to make sure in the chat, if you know Bad Bunny, give me some hearts, some thumbs up in the chat if you've ever heard of Bad Bunny, if you've listened to some of his music. Big Puerto Rican, American artist. He did an incredible residency in Puerto Rico, brought a lot of money to Puerto Rico. So he was chosen as the halftime show. I see a couple of hearts, a couple of thumbs up. Okay, so people are familiar with Bad Bunny is. I mean, I think he's like an international superstar now. So I wanted to know, because Bank Statement Show is a financial show. Okay, so Bad Bunny, like,
but not financial advice.
Not listen, it's not financial advice.
Show.
We're a financial show, okay?
Right.
But I wanted to talk about Bad Bunny because I was seeing like all these people like booking flights and vlogging their trip to go to see Bad Bunny concerts, right? Flying and staying in the hotels and all that different things. And I'm like, okay, so they're bringing him to do the halftime show. And I was thinking like Taylor Swift and how people go and crazy ticket pricing and all. People were willing to drive and fly in from all over the world to be able to see these people perform their tours. And here's the question I kept asking myself. I'm like, there is no way, whether it's Beyonce, Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, all these people who move so many crowds, that every single person who goes there can afford their tickets or can afford that experience. Forget the ticket. Maybe the ticket, like, okay, $200-$300, but the experience, like, you need to get there, you need a hotel, you need a transportation to the event, right? Back from the event, like food, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not just the ticket price, right? You got to think about all that. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way a lot of people can afford to do that. So I did my digging, right? That's why, you guys expect of me to do on the show. And this is what I found out. This was a poll that came from a magazine called Consequence, right? It was a 2025. It says that 60%. This is really interesting. By the way, I was going to talk about Coachella, but I need to explain what Coachella is. Well, maybe you guys already know what Coachella is. It's like a big concert in the desert, that, I guess, festival. I don't know. Like, I don't go to that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying that it's, people go out there and, craziness. But it said that 60%, right, of attendees of Coachella last year paid their experience 60% on credit card or buy now, pay later. 60%. So out of 10 people, 6 of them could not afford to be there, but they still chose to be there. What does that say, right, about us? And so this summer, my question is coming. This summer, I was on my way to Belgium. I was, on a European trip, and at the airport in Brussels, in Belgium, I saw this big sign at the airport that talked about something called Tomorrowland. I don't know if you've ever heard of Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland is like, it's like the biggest festival in the world. I think it's like twice the size of Coachella. Coachella brings in like almost 200,000 people. Tomorrowland in 2025 brought 410,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So huge, incredible. Same thing. 59% of people that went to Coachella, to Tomorrowland, buy now, pay later. So, which, like, I don't know. Like, maybe you're like, I'm not a concert person, and you guys would let me know in the comment section what do you guys think. But what does that say about us, right? Is it a bad financial decision to be able to borrow money for fun and leisure? Or is it just the way life is, right? Like, listen, we'll do that and we'll figure it out later, right? What do you think, right? I'm thinking of like people like that get in debt for their wedding, people that get in debt for like going on vacation, right? Should it be no fun, right? Should I enjoy my life now? I mean, YOLO, we only live once. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. I have heard of Bad Bunny.
Okay, good.
Right, and I think it's not only is his name bad, right? Bad Bunny, and I definitely wouldn't go see Bad Bunny.
You wouldn't go to Puerto Rico to see Bad Bunny?
I wouldn't go to Puerto Rico or where
Tomorrowland,
Tomorrowland, or wherever he's going to be.
Right.
Even if he was a good Bunny. I probably still would not even travel to see him.
Gotcha.
And I definitely would not borrow money,
right,
to go see Bad Bunny, or Good Bunny, whatever.
Right.
But again, I think you have to be mindful of what is that? Are you putting it on a credit card or borrowing it, right, as a form to get points? Is there's good ways also to borrow and take a trip and do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think most people are doing that. I think most people
Right.
are, charging it, borrowing it, rugging for it, right? Doing all kinds of stuff,
Right.
so they can go just live their life, like that. So I think that, it's interesting, right? Those are high stats,
Right.
60%.
60%.
I know, my daughter wanted to go to a Taylor Swift concert,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought 4 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You know the story already, for $1,500, and this was one down in Miami.
Right.
And now 4 tickets at $1,500, that's expensive tickets.
Right.
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 But what I learned was very quickly I was able to sell those tickets. I was able to sell 2 of the tickets and actually make a profit, pay for the tickets back, and let my daughter and her friend go. They were on the floor, right? They were
Right.
nice tickets.
Nice tickets.
So I turned a Bad Bunny experience with Taylor Swift into actually an investment,
Right.
right? And was able to turn those tickets. So I think, you need to treat even your ticket, even your fun, into looking at it as good financial decision, because you don't want to pay for a trip that you're not enjoying anymore, right? 6 months down the road, or a year down the road, right? You might have bought an album or a T-shirt, but you're going to wear it out before you get it paid for it.
Before you pay back with your experience.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we do. I think it's society. Just in general, right? We want what we want, and we want it now. It's kind of where that kind of comes into play. And again, I'm a little bit older than probably the ones doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But even when I was younger, I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you have to be taught that, and that's what we're trying to do with the bank statement.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Just plant these little seeds. Well, hey, think twice before you go and
right.
Do something silly like that.
Right.
Let's take that money we do have and let's invest it into banks or a good project.
Right, or something different,
Yeah.
right? Well, I do want to talk about this, right? Because I think this is really interesting. And guys, tell me a little bit what you guys think about like investing to go for fun. Because what I want people to not think is like we are anti-fun.
No,
right?
No,
we like fun.
Yeah.
I think it's good for you to have experience, vacations, for you to go and see your favorite artist. We think that's good. I think the part that I wanted to bring when I brought this up was the idea of like, have you planned for this, right? Have you budgeted for this? I think that's the part that sometimes is difficult. Like I remember, and this is, again, I think this is going to be helpful for someone. Because it's the same idea, like someone might be like, I don't go to concert or I don't do these things. But I remember even when I was trying to get married and I was looking at the budget for my wedding, right? A lot of people, and then just big shout out to a couple of people that I know recently whose budget is astronomical, right? I know someone who, by no measure of the standard I would expect them. They were spending almost $100,000. Their budget, their wedding budget is $89,000. $89,000.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, you gotta love her. You gotta love her for real. But again, I don't know their financial situation. I don't know if they're like borrowing some of the money or they've saved for like, I don't know, 20 years.
Their first date might have been a $500 one.
For sure. So I was like, so here's the point I'm trying to make, right? I don't think it's important for you to be able to say, you know what, I don't want to do anything. Listen, you got to enjoy the money. There's a reason why we're trying to make money is to enjoy it so that we can be able to, hopefully make more of it so we can have experiences and all that, and which I think is important. But at the same time, like if you don't budget, you don't plan, like you said, the experience might last one night, one day, one event, like whatever, a couple of days. But paying back could take you 6 months to 2 years on that one decision you made, right? Like, especially on credit cards, right? Sometimes you carry 20% interest, right? Like these high interest month after month after month. So if you don't pay it off, it takes you so long to pay it back, And I remember we had the conversation. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be borrowing money for my wedding. It makes no sense, right? Like I was watching a couple who they borrowed $21,000 for their wedding. They got divorced 2 years later, and they're still paying back.
And they're with other people, probably.
They're still paying back
still
the
paying.
debt on their wedding, right? I mean, that's again. I think I want to make sure that you guys hear us, right? Like, do have fun, but I think you need to have a planned budget for your fun, right? Like a fun budget, right? Have a fun budget, an account where you're like, hey, I'm going to save this money. Once you have the money in there, splurge, do what you need to do, but don't take from like your kids. Don't take from rent. Don't take, go and borrow. I mean, I was talking to one of my team members who was telling me about her friend that went and borrowed to buy an iPhone, right? She borrowed 3 times her salary in order to get a new iPhone.
Mm.
I said, I mean, I don't know if that iPhone is going to make her 3 times more money, but like, it's just, I think we just need to be careful. And I think that's one of the things I wanted to make sure you guys hear is like Bad Bunny, however amazing of an artist that he is, are you able to live with the decisions down the line for your future, for 2026, for 2027, years to come? We want you guys to not make decision out of shame. We want to make sure you guys make decision out of choice. I have a choice to go. I have a choice not to go. And I feel guilty because everybody around you says, oh, you got to come to the concert. I can't afford to go. Right? Nowadays, people want to invite you to their wedding. That's a destination wedding to Jamaica and stuff. And it's going to cost you crazy amount to get there. You're like, no, man, I'm going to send you just a nice card in the mail and maybe my gift in the mail or something, right? I'm not coming to you, spending $2,000 to come to your wedding.
Well, even if you can't afford it, it may not have been in your plans.
That's true.
Or in your budget.
That's true.
For that month or whatever. I mean, I want to just remember we went out to San Francisco for On-Chain Summit.
Exactly.
We knew, right away, right, that we wanted to go to On-Chain Summit.
In February or March, right? We knew.
We bought the first two tickets,
right,
which was 3 months or so in advance,
right.
We booked our plane ticket. We knew exactly what we were doing, how we were doing it, and why we were going there.
Right.
And I think that, because you have those plans, not everything, you got to plan perfectly.
You may not know.
Or you may not know, right?
Right.
But I remember someone being at On-Chain Summit as well. And, our tickets included,
hotel, very nice
food.
Hotel, right.
I think it was a 4-star hotel.
Exactly.
Great value.
It's amazing.
I mean, like
for the cost
of what we paid, for what we got, the entertainment, the food, the room, everything that we did, location,
right, it was
all
awesome.
that kind of stuff. We couldn't have done that independently.
It would have cost way more.
We had a car service.
Picked us from the airport all the way to the hotel.
There and back.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But we also met people, right, who were there, but they were staying 20, 30 minutes away.
Because they wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Right.
When they probably spent more.
Right. Doing it that way.
Because they weren't prepared and didn't say, oh, I want to do this, when this happens and make that decision.
It comes back to your point. You got to think. You got to know, okay, before I do this, is there, because for On-Chain Summit, the option to get it cheaper existed.
Yeah.
Right? You just had to say, okay, if I'm going over there, this is what I'm going to do.
Right. And for most people, you're having to fly to
get there.
You're having to fly to get there. Some people, across the pond and for us across the country.
Right.
But it's almost like, okay, we plan. So you plan, you're getting in early, right?
Right.
Well, doesn't that sound like an investment? Right? We want to get in early, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We want to get in early. We want to buy banks at 160,
right? Right.
Get in early.
Right.
Well, you want to schedule your travel, right? I mean, my wife has been traveling back and forth to Florida a lot lately, right?
Right.
And I've said to her, hey, give me a week notice, right? So I can save a couple $100
versus next day or same day type travels, right?
Of course, if it's an emergency or you have to do it. But I think those are sound decisions that you make, because now you got an extra $200-300 that you say, you know what, I'm gonna throw that in here. It is now you're sitting back. You took that money. So I think it's just decisions all the way through. Mm-hmm. I know I kind of went off topic.
No, I love that.
With that, but I know to me it's just really full spectrum, right? Kind of looking at everything that you do and how you invest and what you invest in, and treat everything like an investment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're trying to segue. We're about to end here soon. You segued into something. I know, right?
Man,
it feels like
getting warmed up.
I know you're getting warmed up. Okay, well, I'll give you a couple more minutes.
All right.
But I wanted to talk about this thing because you brought up the idea of okay, you want to like some stuff are you don't plan. They happen. The emergencies that happen, someone is sick, a tire in your car blows up, your car doesn't work, something crazy happened that you didn't budget for, right? What happens then, right? And I wanted to talk about the idea of I believe there are 3 financial accounts that every single person should have before 2026. You need to set them up right now. If you already have not set it up, you need to already start doing it. We are doing it ourselves as well. I mean, because we want to make sure that we are not just telling you what to do, but we are living out also what you want to do. And we're going to have give you guys update as we're trying to build this together as well. I mean, this is, I think, the part of our show that I think is going to be really great is the transparency for you guys to see and journey with us. So we wanted to talk about this, right? Maybe make sure you subscribe to our On-Chain TV. Go to onchaintv.io. I think we'll post more about our journey with these accounts on there, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to see how Mr. Banks and Bongo, how we're doing it with our accounts that we're about to talk about, go and make sure to check us out on On-Chain TV. But this is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the idea of for example, whenever someone is looking at an emergency fund, right? Here are my 3 accounts that I think is important. I think everybody should have an emergency fund, right? And I think anybody should have a HSA fund, well, an HYSA fund, which means a high yield savings account, right? And I'll talk more about that. And then I think it's important for everybody to have an investment account. I think a lot of people are investing rent money, they're investing all these stuff because they're not allocating a certain amount to just investment. We're you hear people say this all the time. Invest what you're willing to lose. Most people still don't do that.
No.
Right? They still invest way more than they're willing to lose, right? And I think a lot of that happens because of FOMO maybe, but I think some of that is because you don't have an account that this is only my investment. When money comes in, someone gives you $1,000 or $100 or $10, wherever you may be, you don't say, okay, this 10% is going to go towards investment, or this 20% is going to go towards investment. You're just I'll put all the money, or I'll put some of it, but you have other expenses. You have all the things that the money has to be split. I think setting up these accounts separately helps okay, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, right? So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because whether it's bed money or some of the other things that we're talking about, I wanted to make sure that, okay, have your fund, but is your fund part of the fund budget that you set up? Is it part of that account that you needed to do that is separate from your emergency fund account, right? Don't take from your emergency fund to go Taylor Swift tickets, right? I think that's not a smart decision.
No.
Right?
No, absolutely.
But at the same time, do you have an emergency fund?
Yeah.
Right? That should be the question that we should be asking. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I did the research, and I wanted to kind of give some of you guys where you could be able to set up some high yield savings account. What does that mean exactly? What do we mean by high yield? Both traditional finance, I'm going to talk about some US banks, and then I'm going to also talk about some crypto, right? Whether if you have stable coins or some other large native cryptos, where can you get good yields on those? Again, none of this is financial advice. None of this is sponsored by anybody here. Nothing that we talk about is a sign of endorsement to them. Do your own research. Make sure that some of these make sense to you. Some of these may be available in your area of the world. Some may not. So make sure you do your research. Grab a pen and a paper. Grab the note app on your phone, because take notes on some of these things we're going to talk about. So let's talk about the emergency fund first of all. What is an emergency fund, and how should someone set up their emergency fund?
Yeah. So right now, I actually just had this conversation with my daughter.
Oh, okay.
All right. So she's, looks like marriage is in the maybe future.
Okay. Good.
Right?
Good.
But I said, well, look, I said, you need to start saving
Mm-hmm.
and put aside an emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, what should that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, look, I said, minimum 3 months.
Right.
Right. But preferably 6 months.
Right.
And here's why.
3 months to 6 months of what?
Of your total expenses, right?
Gotcha.
That you have. So
Gotcha.
if you've got $1,000 a month or $500, whatever it is, just 3 times that or 6 times that, right? So I said, you can. What I told her was, in your mind, mentally say 3 months, but know that that way you get there, right? Make your goal attainable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Quicker, so you don't feel like you're going a long time without hitting goal.
Right.
So I said, get 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
but know when you get 3 months, you're going to get to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, and she actually just called me last Friday and said, I'm almost there. I'm almost to my 3 months already.
That's awesome.
And I was like, there you go.
Right.
See, so, so yes, you need to have one, right? And I think but you also, it's hard, right? If you haven't made good financial decisions and now you want to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to start saving when you barely can pay your bills.
You got debts, you got bills, you got
So then you got to, and maybe we can talk about kind of the snowball.
Right.
You talk about snowball, how you want to start chopping down on your debt, and then take that money and then start putting that into your emergency fund.
Let's bring that up on the next week. I like that. Yeah, for sure.
So 3 to 6 months, and that's just all of your expenses collectively, having that in an account somewhere. A lot of banks now allow you to have separate envelopes or compartments inside of your account,
right?
Where you kind of move that away out of your main spend account.
Exactly, like a savings account versus a checking account or something like that. Right. No, I like that. Just to make sure that you guys cut what he said, I like the advice he gave to his daughter. Gave 3 months of your total monthly expenses and save that. And then when you get through 3 months, continue to get a buffer of 6 months, right? To give you an example, if your monthly expenses are, let's say, $2,000 a month, again, where you are in the world, it could be 1,000, it could be 10,000, or whatever. Let's say 2,000. That means 3 months of 2,000 is $6,000. That means that, let's say, if you're saving $600 a month, it's going to take you 10 months to save 6,000. Right? So it could take you a whole year to get your emergency fund settled for that 3 months. Don't feel guilty. Don't be like, oh my God, this is taking me forever. No, it's part of the journey, right? It's part of you getting there to be able to set up your emergency fund. I think everybody should have one, right? We're building ours. Like, I like the advice that you're giving as well, to your daughter. I think even for business, I think a business having some of that cushion, right? In terms of your treasury and all that kind of stuff is important as well. All right. So you need an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. The next account that I think you need to be able to, by the way, do you guys like this? Is this good information? Give me a thumbs up. Let me give me a heart if you like this kind of information that we give you guys. We want to make sure that what we give is valuable. Yeah, I see a bunch of hearts. Okay, good. People are liking it. All right. So I like to make sure that what we're giving you in terms of information is like practical, something that you can actually do. A lot of people, we get hyped about all these different things, but we don't actually do them. So just be the different people that say, you know what, for 2026, I want to have a different future. I want to make sure I implement some things that are really important. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is another account that I think is important for you to build is a high yield savings account. A HYSA, high yield savings account. Essentially what that means is where are you going to put your money and you're going to get more percentage than what you usually get at your bank, right? Most banks give you like 0.05%, right? Or something crazy like that. You don't even get like 0.5%, right? So, but there are some, again, depending on the country, depending on the financial institution, you can get different rates. But also I want to tell you guys about, you can also get some rates on stable coins. So if you're in crypto, if you're on the blockchain or Web3, you can still get some high interest on the money you deposit there on staking farms, different places like that. Again, by the way, some of this is not financial advice. We're not saying that, you got to go with the ones we're going to be naming, but I think it's important for you to know. Okay. So, any comments on HYSA, Mr. Banks? What do you think about those as well?
No, absolutely. I think that they're good. I actually just one just came out the other day that Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy is doing. It's, not to get into that today, but it's 10% a year.
That's pretty high.
Backed by Bitcoin. But we'll talk that's something we should probably talk about in another episode because we go pretty deep in that. But I think it's important, right? Like, for me, I'm not a huge traditional stock person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost all crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, I'm looking at stuff like Coinbase, USDC,
Mm-hmm.
getting, I think it's just under 4%
Yeah, it's
right
like
now.
3.85.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that. And then you've got, you have,
Morphin.
more
Yeah,
on
yeah.
base as
Mm-hmm.
well. So yeah, I think you need to have that, traditional or, crypto,
Right.
right? Either way, just having something that is, again, this is just separating your money some, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have more than, you're not just waiting for a crypto project to 3 or 4 or 5x, right?
Right.
You're working your emergency fund,
Right.
right? You've got a little bit of money sitting over here, right, in a high yield
Right.
account, making you a little money. Oh, and you got some money over here in something stable,
Right.
right? Something that long-term play investments.
Right.
Then you got maybe some degen plays over here.
A DGen account. That's
Degen
different, right?
account,
That
right?
okay, if I lose some of that, I'm not, losing
Right.
sleep.
And
Right.
you've moved your profit from somewhere else. You've moved 5-10% of it over to your degen account,
Right.
right? For that next 100x,
Right. Scratch the each of like, I gotta go
Yeah,
in.
I
Like,
got to
okay.
do it. I got to
Right.
do it.
For fun. Right.
Right.
Right. No, I agree.
Or you want to get into NFTs, right?
That's true. That's true.
And buy, I'm not a huge NFT fan, but I've liked buying some NFTs lately just to support projects. Learning a lot, right? And just realizing that NFTs are, some of them are really cool, right? But really, I like the story behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the story with the NFTs and what they're doing and what they're
Right.
trying to do with the project.
We have something with NFT coming soon, so stay
Yes.
tuned. Right, with the Rob Banks, we have some exciting stuff. We can't talk about it yet, but stay tuned for that because they're going to be good. So let's talk about high yield savings account. Like I list a couple of these. By the way, again, by no means do we endorse any of these platforms. We're not sponsored to say this. They didn't pay us, right? By the way, if you want to pay us, right,
Yeah.
reach out to us. Yeah. But they didn't pay us to say this. This is just our research. We've done some of the research to give you guys some good places where you can be able to find good interests. By the way, in typical finance, traditional, not like crypto, not Web3, right? Web2 stuff, good high yield is anywhere between 3 to 5%. I think if you're getting anywhere between that amount, it's a pretty high yield, right? Compared to your typical bank that gives you like 0.002% or something crazy like that. So here are my top 4 options of some of the more secure banks that can give you high yield. If you're in the US, SoFi gives you 4.6 APY. APY stands for annual percentage yield. So that means that if you put $1,000 at, let's say, let's say 10% APY for easy math. $1,000 at 10% APY. At the end of the year, if the APY stays at 10%, you've made $1,100. So you made that $100 because it's 10% of your initial investment. That's including anything that's like cumulative or anything like that. So SoFi gives you 4.6. If you go to Goldman Sachs, their Marcus checking account, savings account, by Goldman Sachs gives you 4.4 APY, which is pretty cool. Ally Bank, they give you 4.25 APY. For full transparency, I use Ally Bank for my APY, for my HSA, HISA. I'm getting 3.4, even though they advertise 4.25, right? So just for full transparency, right? That's what they say, but this is what I'm getting. I'm getting 3.4, which is still pretty high, right? It's better than what, some of the other banks I'm giving me like 1% or something. And then I found a really incredible one that's over 5%. This is UFB Direct. This is a bank that is connected by Axo Bank. They're a big down south in the United States bank here. They're giving you 5.25 APY. It's a completely online bank. So if you don't care about going to like a physical branch and talking to your banker or something like that, if you do everything online, you can go with them for those in the U.S. For those who are not in the U.S., because we know a lot of our listeners are all over the world, you guys check with your local banks where you are. I'm pretty sure you can find something that's similar that gives you pretty interesting APY. Don't settle for what your bank gives you right now. Shop around. Try to see if you can be able to open an account, especially if you can be able to open an account without having to pay a fee to maintain your money there. Shop around to see where you can get better return. For all of us, right, who are in crypto, we're all crypto heads. For the majority, we love cryptocurrency. We believe in that. Well, did you know that let's say you do take profits let's say you keep your profits in stables, right? Big shout out to Dums in the building. Dums is good to see you. By the way, go check them out. We just talked about NFTs, right?
Yeah, we just
So
talked about Dom the other day.
we just talked about them. So go check out Dums, a great project. They have great, incredible NFTs and incredible artists that are doing amazing stuff there.
And a new staking platform.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about staking. I was
Yeah,
going to talk about staking right now. So for those of you guys who are in crypto, let's say you have stables, right? And I want to talk about stables specifically because stables act like they're usually pegged to the US dollar or the euro, or they're pegged to whatever a stable currency. So it's not moving like Bitcoin or something like that. You may lose on the upside, but you still be able to win on being able to have your money put aside, like for an emergency fund or something like that. So here are a couple places that have pretty good APY on stable. Again, this is not a sponsor of them. We just did our research to give you guys some good information. But right now, for example, BitGet gives you 12.78 APY. 12.78. I mean, it's just.
I wish we could open up one there. That's a good APY.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like 3 times what you get in traditional banking. Yeah. Kraken gives you up to 7% APY on USDC, USDT. Same thing for BitGet, USDC, USDT. Binance gives you up to 14% on USDT. That's pretty incredible too on their side as well. Coinbase, again, is a secure, one of the leading exchanges in the world, just like Binance. They give you 3.85 APY on USDC. Again, it's the same way as you would keep your money in a bank anyway, but keeping it somewhere that would give you a high interest yield on your investment anyway, I think is smart. I think that's something you should do anyway. I think it's a good practice for you to do. Right? So we want to make sure that you guys understand that, okay, you need to build your emergency fund. You need to make sure that you have a high yield savings account, and you need to make sure that you have an investment account that you've also opened. I hope if you guys really like that. By the way, do any of you guys already have something like that open, right? Do any of you guys have something like, okay, we've done something like that in the past? Let me know if you have. I want to look on the chat here. If you've had some, for example, let me see. If you've done something like that, let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you've done something like that in the past. You have maybe an emergency fund, or you have a high yield saving account that you've already set up. Yeah, I see some people. Okay, I see some people give me some heart. Give me a thumbs up if you've set them all three. If you've already set all three, give me a thumbs up. If you have an investment account, some people are thumbs down, so you haven't set them up. Some people have already thumbs up. Okay, a couple thumbs up. Some people already set this up. Okay, cool. If you haven't said something like this, it's not too late. I'm going to encourage you to do so. Try to do that. It's important for you to really be smart with our money as we're going into 2026, putting some good decisions together. So we're about to come to close. I did see Dums over there. He's a good friend of the show. You wanted to say something? We'll bring him up. Dums, I see you requested. Let me go back. Again, if you guys don't know about Dums, they are great artists. They make incredible NFTs and their arts and what they have going on. So welcome to the bank statement show. I'll let you say something right quick. You can talk a little bit about what you guys have going on over there, and let our people know a little bit about what you guys have cooking. I hear you loud and clear. The floor is yours.
I just wanted to say what's up. We actually just came back. I think everybody, as you talked about being financially smart, is super, super important.
Right.
I think most of us have been affected by kind of this, not a slow bleed, but the crypto market, especially small caps, have been a little choppy for the last year.
Right.
Thankfully for us, I wanted to give you guys an update. We had like maybe a handful of weeks, maybe a month, we were a little bit more quiet. I was moving out to Phoenix.
Okay.
So I've been in the new house for about a week, but we also had a angel investor come in who gave us a good bit of funding to carry us on through this next year, which has been amazing.
That's awesome.
So our goal, and I think a reality that, I mean, you guys are out here grinding too, it's clear. You see the projects that month in and month out are still going, even though we've almost had since last fall, since we've had a real alt run.
Right.
So, it's longevity. I think that's the biggest thing we've learned is this is a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to survive as a project and company for long enough to be able to get to that point where liquidity flows back into the market. So thankfully we got that. We had some help from a close friend. But yeah, we're still doing the same things. We're dropping our plushie this month.
Hey,
We have our first space back this upcoming week. So we're just going to keep, now that we have the circumstances to be able to do so, we're going to keep progressing forward and just plan to be able to position our financing in a smart way so that we can survive long enough that we actually can capitalize on, the market actually doing what we're all waiting for. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
just a little update about us, but it's
Awesome.
nice to hear from you, bro.
No, man, it's really great to hear from you. And congrats on your new house, moving in. And it's not easy
Thank you,
always
bro.
balancing real life and business. Um,
No,
something I wanted to ask you, right? And maybe we might have you bring
what's
you
up?
back on the bank statement show is you just hit on something that Mr. Banks and I, we talk about this all the time. It's the idea of like, if you need investment, right, in order to
Yep.
make sure your
Yep.
business is profitable, like a lot of people don't understand, like you still need expenditure. Like there's an operating cost to run your business, right? People think like, oh
Right.
my God, just sell the token, let it. It doesn't work like that.
No,
So,
no.
so I wanted to maybe next time we would love to bring you and we can talk a little bit on that business side of things, right? Because you talk
Yeah,
about bringing an angel investor. How do you guys work on something like that? How do you deal with like, do you guys do equity in the company? How do you guys
yep,
split some of that? Because I think it would be a great insight for some people who don't
for
really
sure.
look on the business side of something that what you guys are doing. You guys are, we it's funny you show up. We were just talking about you yesterday.
That's awesome.
We went to your website yesterday. We're like, oh, where's Dubs? We haven't seen Dubs in a minute. So,
Yeah, that was all getting that back end stuff worked out. It took a handful of weeks, but we got it all done. And that was the thing, is like I was moving. I had a road trip across the country. I was in New York previously. So that was a lot. And to be honest with you, my name is Jake. We've met previously in the past, but
right.
I run all the daily business operations. So I did so for solely profit share for around 5 months.
Mm,
Money was very, very tight.
mm-hmm,
Because the market's just been kind of ass for a while.
mm-hmm.
But now that we have this investor came in, I'm able to have a base, and it allows me. You have to be able to have room to live. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's a
You need a
necessity.
runway.
Um,
Right.
exactly. So now we do, but I would absolutely love to dive into that deeper. Yeah, if you want to do another space,
For
I'll hit
sure.
you up after this and
For
let's do it.
sure. Jake, man, it's great to hear from you. Jake, before you go, let people know how they can get in contact with you guys, where they can check out what you guys have going on, and all that good information.
Absolutely, yeah. We have our website on the X profile. Also, you could DM us anytime. We will always get back and respond to you. We also have the Discord link. It's on our website and it's on our X profile. So that's our main form. We have Telegram as well, obviously, but I would say the Discord I have it open on my PC all day. It's always on the other monitor. So if you guys need anything, we're always very, very quick to respond. And yeah, we could go a little bit deeper if you want into more of what we build and what we do next time
Right.
when we have some more time. But yeah, so if you want to get in contact, that's the best way.
Awesome, awesome. Big shout out to Dums coming in the building, crashing the bank statement. We'll love you. Keep building, man. And we can't wait to see you guys win.
Appreciate you, homie. See you guys too.
Awesome,
Seriously.
awesome. Man, this is awesome. It's always great to kind of see great projects like them who are doing. So guys, make sure you go check them out. Go follow Doms and what they have going on. If you like NFTs, a lot of all their NFTs, I believe are hand drawn.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they said that on the website. So great stuff. I mean, we saw a couple of the things that they have. So I think it's really great what they're building over there. And then, man, that business conversation is going to be incredible.
Yeah,
I like talking about like real people who are.
Well, we were talking about that in the beginning of the bank
Exactly.
of this episode, right?
Exactly.
There is that business side that, I would say probably 85% of most projects don't even go there.
They don't even go there.
They don't even think about it.
Right.
And I think that, when we'd love to have them back. We've done a collab with them before, and I think they've been on another space or whatever. But just good people, right? And they just continue to grind regardless
of the market.
Yeah, exactly. Of the market cap for them.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, they just continue to work. Those are the projects that you want to hold.
Exactly.
Right?
Long term.
You just want to hold stuff like that because you just know that they're doing everything they can, right, to get on the other side.
I mean, think about what he said. They want to get an angel investor, right? I mean, listen, to a lot of business, that's risky. They don't want to do that. They don't, like, even the angel investor convincing someone to say, you know what, hey, believe enough in us because we're still building. Right? So I think that's the part where, no, we would love to go deeper in that conversation to get the nitty gritty. But I mean, go check them out, go follow them. But also, guys, before we end, make sure you go to onchaintv.io. Onchaintv.io, create an account. It's completely free to create an account. Most of our content, this episode is going to be posted on there as well for you to kind of go and re-listen. If you haven't heard all the places we talked about, you can go and check out some of the places in the APY that they offer. Go check it out in your country as well. Let us know also in the comment section for this. For example, what is maybe a bank in your country that offers good APY? There could be someone in your country as well that's like, hey, just say like, okay, this bank, this is the APY. So other people also in the same country can be able to see. That's how we win as a community. That's how we win together. But again, big shout out to all of you guys for staying all the way through the bank statement show. You guys are OGs, man. I wanted to say something, and I'm looking at Mr. Banks yet. Like, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but we have some really interesting things cooking for you guys. Some things that we are excited to release in the upcoming weeks or month or two. That I think you're gonna be happy you were here now compared to what is going to be coming up. So make sure you hold some banks. I'm gonna just say that again. Not financial advice. Do what you want, but I'm just telling you, for those who listen, you want to make sure that you're a part of what we're about to do because we believe long term. Like what Dumbs are doing, we're doing the same thing. We want to build for the future. We want to really create a place where people can come and learn, earn, and build wealth together. So we're doing the learn part. That's what we want to teach about financial education. We want to talk about money. We want to demystify a lot of these different things. Opening accounts. We want to talk even beyond just crypto. But we also want to give you opportunities to earn. Right? What do you earn? Right? Like what could be other ways for you to be able to do that? That's the stuff that I'm excited for you guys to hear that's coming up soon. So those are going to be some fun ones. So big shout out to all of you guys who are OGs, some of our big holders as well. We appreciate you guys. All right, Mr. Banks, any lasting words, anything coming up on your agenda that you want people to know before we end?
Well, before we do that, tell everybody we're going to give some more money away. I love giving away money like that, right? So tell them how that's going to happen because we always get people that want to know, right? They love our wheel, but tell them what are we giving away this time?
Okay,
right?
So
that's a commitment. We want. This is part of the earn part, right?
This is part of the earn. That's true.
You get
That's true.
Earn, right? Not financial advice. All you got to do is come,
right? Show
be
up,
entertained,
exactly.
Right?
Get some nuggets, right? Get some nuggets of wisdom.
Talk about that before I get into our closing.
Okay, so as always, you can see it in our title. We do a $50 giveaway every time because we like to make sure that you are rewarded for your patience to come and learn, right? And I think that's really, really important for us, for you guys being part of our family and our group. So for you to be able to earn this $50, make sure you follow.
Now it's 225s.
Right.
2 opportunities.
2 different people winning $25 each. By the way, for those of you guys who tune in every time, you might get a chance to be winning so many opportunities. So that's great. Big shout out to all our past winners, by the way. And big shout out to our team that makes sure to do a great job to make sure that, we get you guys, all that kind of stuff. But this is how you win. So right now there's a pinned post. Everybody, go look at the pinned post on our X account. You want to make sure you are following us. You want to make sure that you are liking that post and retweeting the post and tag 2 people. By the way, some people just don't do all the instructions, and it's kind of frustrating, right? So we want to make sure that you do that.
You can't tag us as one of them.
Right, you can't tag me
can't tag
or...
us, right? You can't tag.
Some people are tagging you?
Yeah, we are. I'm already here, baby.
Right. We're part of the host. We can't tag us. Tag other people. So make sure you tag 2 people as well, and that will give us an opportunity to be able to find you. What we love, and a lot of people like our wheel, so we take your name and we take your handle for your X account. We'll put it into a random wheel randomizer. So we spin the wheel and it picks a name, right? So that's not something like we don't just pick our own people. People are part of our team or our admins or whatever. We don't do that. So we let fate decide. So by showing up often, you get a chance to be able to be part of the winning. And man, we have a lot of winning opportunities coming up for you guys. So we're super excited. So again, just to recap, make sure you follow us, you retweet, and you tag 2 people on the pinned post on our account right now. And that's how you win. By the way, this is only going to be up until tomorrow, Wednesday. By the way, it might be Wednesday already where you are, but tomorrow, Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, then we're going to unpin that and pin another post, right? So make sure you do that so that you can be able to be chosen to win.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple real quick things, Bongo.
Yes.
Right. For me, I'm going to be hosting the Ziggy team
Hey.
on a Thursday space.
That's awesome.
Right. We're going to do another. We're going to have that posting, I know, pretty soon.
Right.
So again, help us have a good turnout there as well. Learn more about Ziggy.
We met Ziggy team on On-Chain Summit. Right.
So that will be coming out as well. But look, I got to give a shout out to the community on X, right? To the people in our space right now that continue to just blow up and share and do all those kind of good things, man. We're building such a great community right now, and I see them growing and guys, we appreciate it, right?
Exactly.
Regardless, we're doing this regardless of anything else going on in the market.
Right.
Bitcoin going below 100K today, ETH going below 3,500. It doesn't matter. Banks going below whatever. We're just going to do our thing.
We're building.
And having you guys, retweeting and helping and sharing and
we love it.
Showing up for us gives us a lot of energy. So thank you.
Yes.
Here's a little bit of alpha. I've said it on 3 other episodes a little differently, but here it is. If you're here and if you've created an account or a user account, a free account, Bongo, it's free.
Free 99.
If you've created a user account with onchaintv.io, right? Great. Keep it. There's going to be a little bonus coming up.
Ooh,
all right.
Alpha drop.
It's going to be more, so now having an account at OnChain TV, I'm not going to tell you why yet, but you're already here.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming to these every week, right? But if you haven't yet, go get it. Okay. Go create your user account. And then on the next show, next Tuesday at 2:00 Eastern, there's going to be an action that's going to have some power, some bonus power built in for people who've actually taken action.
Don't tell us, I didn't know. We literally are saying it. Do it now.
That's it. So if you have it and you're here, go create a free account.
Yes.
How much is it again?
It's free.
Free.
Absolutely free.
Yeah. So that's all. So that's my little alpha that, we're going to do something because, we've got some content creators now coming on board with OnChain TV.
Right.
I know we're doing more and more videos. The education's getting strong there.
Right.
So I just want more of our family, more of the Banks family to come over to OnChain TV.
Right.
And because I know they like hearing us talk, right? So go over there and listen to somebody else a little bit or listen to us again.
More of us over there.
We can chop it up in smaller pieces and they can listen to us all the time.
Exactly.
But no, that's it, guys. That's all I got. Bongo, you want to close us out? Until next time, go ahead.
No, until next time, man, guys, we appreciate you guys. One of my bank statement for this particular show is make sure that you know your budget and that you plan your fund. So fun should not be something that just happens to you. Fun should not be just something that happens because other people are trying to impose their fun on your financial budget, but plan your fund. Create a fund budget account where you say, okay, if I want to go to that, whatever that Bad Bunny concert, or you want to go to the Super Bowl, or you want to go to your friend's wedding, or you want to go on vacation, whatever the case, you've budgeted, you've planned it so that at the end of everything, you only have memories and not regret that comes with debt.
Good.
So only have the memories, not the regret. All right. We love you guys, and we can't wait to see you guys on
Create your account at OnChain TV. Power Play next week.
Create your account on OnChain TV. We can't wait to see you guys next week. All right, guys. Tune in on Thursday for Rob Banks. Mr. Banks is going to be talking to the Ziggy team. We can't wait to see you guys. Bye.
Out.